Everyone says they want financial freedom before 40. Very few ever get close. And it's not because they're lazy or stupid or bad with numbers. It's because no one taught them the part that actually decides their future, the psychology behind their money decisions. You hear about investments, about side hustles, about the right career, but almost no one explains the invisible forces that make you delay what matters, chase what doesn't, and wake up at 35 realizing you're tired, overworked, and still not free. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your path to financial freedom before 40 was never just about how much you earn. It was always about how you think, how you react, how you handle fear, comparison, and uncertainty. And that is exactly where the psychology of money becomes a guide, not for getting rich overnight, but for buying something much more important: control over your own time. Before we go deeper, let me ask you something. What does financial freedom before 40 mean to you specifically? Retiring early? Working less? Being able to say no without fear? Pause for a second and tell me in the comments, what's one thing you would change in your life if money stopped controlling your decisions? Because that answer matters more than any number in your bank account. If you want freedom before 40, you need to understand one thing first. Money is not just math. It's emotion, memory, and identity all mixed together. You don't arrive at 30 with a neutral view of money. You arrive carrying decades of hidden stories. The tension you felt when bills were late, the pride when someone finally bought something nice, the silent fear when you heard adults say, "We can't afford that." Even if no one ever sat you down to talk about money, they were teaching you through conflict, through silence, through celebration. These experiences built your internal script about money, whether it's safe or dangerous, abundant or scarce, a tool or a threat. And now, as an adult, that script runs in the background. It's why some people cling to every dollar, while others spend as if tomorrow doesn't exist. It's why one person is terrified of investing and another is addicted to risk, not because one is smarter, but because they're reacting to different histories. The book puts it in a simple way. You don't react to money. You react to your story about money. If you don't rewrite that story, you won't build freedom. You'll just upgrade your prison. Now add something else to this equation: comparison. Somewhere in your late 20s and early 30s, you stop living only your life and start measuring it against everyone else's. You see someone your age buying a house, posting vacations, sharing success stories, and your brain quietly whispers, "I'm behind." That one thought is enough to destroy a decade of potential freedom. Because instead of asking, "What kind of life do I want by 40?" you start asking, "How can I look like I'm doing as well as everyone else right now?" And suddenly, your money decisions are no longer about freedom. They're about status. You upgrade the apartment earlier than you should. You buy the car that proves you're doing well. You say yes to plans you can't afford just to avoid explaining why. None of these decisions feel wrong in the moment. They feel normal, expected, deserved. But every time you choose status over savings,
You're choosing today's image over tomorrow's freedom. The book reminds you of something crucial. Real wealth is silent. Status is loud. If your goal is financial freedom before 40, you have to decide which one you respect more. There's another truth from the book that changes everything. Your financial life is shaped by luck and risk far more than you think. You see someone who retired at 35 and think, "I'm failing. I must have done everything wrong." You don't see the timing, the connections, the random opportunities, the near disasters they barely escaped. You only see what happened, never what almost happened. At the same time, when something goes wrong for you, a job loss, a bad investment, a health issue, you immediately turn it into a moral judgment. I'm terrible with money. I'll never catch up. But that's not how reality works.
Risk and luck are like two invisible hands shaping your life, sometimes protecting you, sometimes hitting you unexpectedly. You're not losing the game. You're playing a game with hidden variables. When you really absorb this, freedom before 40 stops being a race against other people and becomes a commitment to one thing: designing a plan that still works even if life doesn't go perfectly. Not the highest return plan, the most resilient one. The one that leaves room for surprise, for chaos, for being human. That's how you stop chasing magic formulas and start building real independence. Here's where most people get trapped. They believe freedom before 40 is about hitting a big number, a certain salary, a certain net worth, a certain investment balance. And while numbers matter, they're not the main character. Because if your psychology is wired for never enough, no number will feel safe. You'll hit one milestone and immediately raise the bar. You'll earn more and upgrade your lifestyle right along with it. You won't feel free, you'll just feel like the stakes are higher. That's why one of the most powerful ideas from the book is simple and often ignored. If you don't define enough, the world will define it as more. And more has no finish line. If you want freedom before 40, you have to decide consciously what enough means for you. Enough income, enough lifestyle, enough status. Not in a sad, minimalist way, but in a self-respecting way. Because the moment you know what enough looks like, two things happen. You stop chasing every new opportunity out of fear, and you start protecting the one thing that really matters: your time. And this is where the psychology of money becomes brutally clear. The highest form of wealth is the ability to control your time. Freedom before 40 isn't about never working again. It's about having options. Being able to say, I don't want to work there anymore. I want to take a break. I want to spend more time with the people I love. That kind of freedom doesn't appear out of nowhere. It's built quietly, through decisions that look boring from the outside. Living below your means, saving even when you could spend, investing consistently, not perfectly, just consistently. These habits don't impress anyone on social media. No one claps for you when you don't buy something. But every time you resist the urge to prove something to others, you're proving something powerful to yourself. I value my future more than their opinion. And that simple belief might be the most important habit for anyone who wants freedom before 40.
To make this real, you need one key skill: saving, not as a punishment, but as a form of self-respect. The book explains this in a way that surprises most people. You don't need a reason to save. You save because the future is uncertain. You save because flexibility is priceless. You save because your future self will thank you for every dollar that gives you options. Before 40, your savings rate matters more than your investment genius. You don't control the market. You don't control the economy. You don't control global events. But you do control how much of your income you keep. That gap between what you earn and what you spend is where your freedom lives. Even if your income isn't huge, protecting that gap is like protecting your oxygen. Because one day, that cushion becomes the reason you can quit a toxic job, move cities, start something new, or simply breathe without panic. If you want help turning that idea into something practical, I left a link in the pinned comment to the 30-Day Wealth Habits Challenge. It's a guided challenge that helps you build simple, realistic habits around saving, spending, and investing. The kind of habits that quietly move you closer to freedom before 40, even when life feels chaotic. Here's another uncomfortable truth. Most people don't fail financially because they lack information. They fail because they can't manage their behavior. Knowing what to do and doing it consistently are two completely different skills. The book insists on this again and again. Ordinary people with calm, consistent habits often end up wealthier than highly intelligent people who can't control their emotions. Think about it. You don't need PhD-level knowledge to spend less than you earn, avoid high-interest debt, invest in simple, diversified assets, and stay invested for a long time. But you do need emotional strength to say no to instant gratification, stay calm when markets drop, avoid chasing what everyone else is hyping, and resist lifestyle creep when your income rises. Freedom before 40 is less about IQ and more about emotional maturity. It's not, can I find the best strategy, but can I stick to a good strategy long enough for it to work? That's the part most people never master.
Bad financial decisions almost never start as disastrous. They start as tiny, harmless temptations. Just this once. I'll pay it off later. I deserve it. I've been stressed. Each one of these moments feels small, but your future isn't built in big, dramatic scenes. It's built in these quiet, forgettable choices. The book shows that your brain isn't trying to ruin your finances. It's trying to protect your emotions. You buy to feel important. You spend to escape stress. You avoid checking your bank account to avoid feeling guilty. In the short term, these habits give you relief. In the long term, they steal your freedom. If you want to reach financial independence before 40, you don't need to fix everything. You need to fix these small, repeated moments where emotion silently overrules intention. Because every time you choose discomfort now, saying no, delaying gratification, sticking to your plan, you're buying comfort later. And later is where your 40-year-old self lives. Patience is the trait that almost no one in their 20s and 30s talks about, and yet it's the one that determines who actually reaches freedom. The world screams, move faster, do more, get rich now.
But the book gives you a different perspective. The most powerful results in finance come from compounding. And compounding requires time, consistency, and patience. The problem? Patience feels like doing nothing. You invest. You wait. You see tiny progress. You're tempted to abandon the plan for something louder, newer, more exciting. But here's the paradox. The people who look slow from the outside, the ones quietly saving, investing regularly, keeping their lifestyle simple, often end up moving the fastest in the only race that matters, the race to own their time. Patience isn't just a financial tool. It's emotional wealth. If you can learn patience before 40, you won't just build money, you'll build peace. So, how do you turn all of this into something practical? A path you can actually follow? You don't need a perfect blueprint. You need a simple structure that works in real life. Think in 3 steps. 1. Define your version of freedom. Not what social media shows you, not what your friends want. What you want your life to look like before 40. How much time do you want for yourself? How much stress are you willing to tolerate? What are you willing to sacrifice? And what are you not willing to sacrifice? Clarity here guides every decision that comes next. 2. Protect the gap. The gap between what you earn and what you spend is the engine of your freedom. Track your money. Cut what doesn't add real value. Let your lifestyle grow slower than your income. Then automate. Automatic savings, automatic investments, automatic transfers into an emergency fund. Make it harder to sabotage yourself. 3. Build habits, not heroic moments. You don't need to fix your life in one big move. You need small, repeatable actions. Saving a percentage of your income. Investing monthly in simple assets. Avoiding debt that locks you in. Questioning every decision that's driven by comparison. These habits are boring until they're not. One day you'll look back and realize they quietly bought you something extraordinary. Options. Changing your relationship with money is less about learning new tricks and more about seeing yourself clearly. Once you understand that, you've been reacting to your past, to other people's expectations, to fear and comparison. You gain something powerful: choice. You can choose to question your impulses, to ask yourself, am I doing this because I want it, or because I'm trying to prove something? Is this decision bringing me closer to freedom before 40, or just making me look successful today? When those questions become automatic, your behavior changes naturally. You save more without feeling deprived. You invest without needing certainty. You say no without feeling like you're missing out. And slowly, your financial life moves from survival to strategy to freedom. Now that you've reached this point, take a moment and ask yourself, how many of your money decisions have been driven more by emotion than intention? There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone lives on autopilot at some point. The difference is that now you can see the pattern, and once you see it, you have a choice. Keep repeating it, or build something different. Financial freedom before 40 won't happen by accident. It will come from tiny, consistent decisions that your future self will never forget. You don't need a perfect plan to start. You just need one step: saving a little, investing a little, thinking twice before every "I deserve this" purchase. To make this easier, you'll find a link in the pinned comment to the 30-Day Wealth Habits Challenge. It guides you, day by day, through realistic financial habits that support this goal, not in theory, but in your actual life. If this video made you reflect, even for a few minutes, that's already a sign you're ready to build a different relationship with money. One that is calmer, more intentional, and truly aimed at freedom. To keep learning and growing, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Here, you'll find more content on money psychology, financial behavior, and how to build real wealth, so that by the time you reach 40, you're not just older, you're free.